New England Patriots, is it finally time to blow up this fucking team, get rid of Bill Belichick, maybe as both the GM and head coach? If he doesn't want the head coach or the GM role or the head coach role, get a new GM. Is it time just to blow it up? Like, he has not done anything.
Robert Kraft has to have a serious conversation with Belichick, sit him down and say, hey, because Belichick has not proved that he can be an efficient GM right now. He needs to sit down and say, look, you either step down from GM and just focus on coaching or retire.
All About the Balls podcast with Mark Davis, Chris Meinhardt, Luke Rule, and Nick the Doc Skirkowitz. Hello and welcome to All About the Balls podcast. I'm Mark Davis in the Sack House, ready to talk Week 5 of the NFL season with Chris Meinhardt, Luke Rule, and Nick the Doc Skirkowitz. Chris, how are you doing? As the New Orleans Saints finally had offense that showed up, their defense was lights out, 34-0 shutout win in Foxborough. How you doing?
Yeah, Mark, it's great to always shut out a team in the NFL, especially with how high caliber this talent is on the field. So happy win.
Not easy to do against Mac Jones too.
Hey, he benched again. I was hoping for an earlier bench, but I'll take the end of the third.
For him, dude. I almost gave up the house for him after week 1.
It's time to roll Zappy, I think.
Glad we did not. But Luke, the Baltimore Ravens, ugly loss, 17-10 on the road to Pittsburgh. You were up 10-3 most of the game. Your offense, we'll talk about them in a little bit, but the offense didn't look good, especially receivers. Lamar had some questionable throws. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it's a tough loss. I mean, Ravens beat themselves on this game, honestly. Our receivers had 6 drops, so can't win if you're not catching passes. So not all on Lamar, a lot on the receivers, but Lamar also didn't win us the game at the end. So tough loss, team loss, but moving on.
Still think those receivers are just polished shit. They're better than what you've had, a little polished, but not good enough. Doc, the Chicago Bears, huge win as they open up Week 5 this calendar year in Landover, Maryland, 40-20 win over the Commanders. Justin Fields, DJ Moore, hell of a performance. How you feeling?
Oh, dude, real good. Nice to see Justin finally come out playing like quarterback. We'll break it down more later in the show, but took the three-peat this week, the triple crown, if you will, got the Bears to open up Week 5, and both fantasy leagues barely edged one out over Geary and redraft and absolutely shitted on Ali. Over 90-point win in Dynasty, season high in the league. Love to see it.
Yeah, it was a huge win, Doc, and huge win for the Atlanta Falcons. We won 21-19. Only guy that chose them in the sack house was myself. Desmond Ridder, like you said, if the quarterback has a pocket and offensive lineman's willing to protect him, it's going to be a lot better. He had a lot more confidence. He had a game-winning drive. His first 300-plus yard game, remains undefeated at home in the collegiate and professional level. I believe now he's 31-0 between his University of Cincinnati days and now his Falcon days. So the key is start Heineke on the road, start Ridder at home. 2 QB system. We probably win the Super Bowl, but fuck Green Bay too. Wanted to throw that out there. They cost me my pick'ems this week out of our 38-man league. I had a chance to win some good cash, but fuck Green Bay. Jordan Love is hot dog shit. But boys, we mentioned the
fuck
AFC
Baltimore
North.
More.
Yeah, well, we're getting to that right now. The AFC North, big fucking swing of things. You know, Baltimore looked like they were going to roll, go to 4-1. Luke, we'll start with the Ravens, man. Is this signs to come for the Ravens offense? I said that we want to see more from them, right, with Todd Monken, and then your polished shit receivers, you know, Zay Flowers, who I still think's good, but Nelson Aguilar's shit. Bateman looked like shit. I know Andrews had a drop, but I still blame Kyle Lamar on that one too. It was a bad throw, but how are you feeling out of the Ravens camp?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's kind of more of a fluke game with the amount of drops we had. The receiving core is not the best in the NFL, but it's the best one Lamar's had in his career, and we've still been able to pull off games. It's also a divisional game on the road, so those games are always tough no matter what division you're in, especially playing Steelers-Ravens. It's like the big checked game on the schedule when you play the Steelers. So, yeah, I mean, but not a huge deal for us. 2-1 for divisional road games for the season, so the rest of the division comes to us for the rest of the season, so not too bad for a start of the season. Yeah, it sucks to lose the Steelers, but
I think
We'll be
this
just
is the
fine.
Pittsburgh
Moving on.
Steelers, though, that we're going to start seeing. I mean, Kenny Pickett did outperform Lamar Jackson, which is not going to happen all the time. Probably never. But I mean, probably a couple times this year. But he did outperform him. I think that this is the Steelers' offense. I was expecting this for Pickens this year. I think Pittsburgh looked good. Their defense looked solid against. I mean, yeah, drop passes, but their defense still looks solid.
Yeah.
They're getting to Lamar. TJ Watt's a freak. Pickens,
Michael
6
Thomas going to find his way to 9 wins anyways. You already know he's not going to have.
How many drops was it?
We had
It's
6.
like 5 or 6.
It was a lot, yeah.
Three of them were touchdowns.
The Andrews one, I still stand by. It's a drop, but it's also a high ass pass too. Like Lamar should
That
have
one in the back of the
that-
end zone.
that
That one
one
in the back of
had-
the end zone was an ugly drop.
Which one?
I don't.
Andrews one or Aguilar.
It had to be Aguilar. The one who went up and just kind of swatted it down.
I don't remember that. I
I
can't
don't know
recall
which
that
one.
one.
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
No.
The only one I
It
know in
was-
the end zone that
I think it was the
the
fourth
one in the
quarter.
back of the end zone was the interception that Joey Porter Jr. had. I remember, but that
No, that was in the
I mean,
corner.
No,
That was in the corner when he went up and when Lamar underthrew it.
Bateman had one.
That was
Bateman, that's what it was. It was Bateman in the back of the end zone. He went up for
That
it and
ball's
just kind of
not
like went straight down
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, that ball wasn't.
Yeah,
smart
that
at all.
was an ugly one. That was an ugly
That
one.
was a bad drop.
But I mean, honestly, it's not even that it's tough to lose to the Steelers. I mean, I don't want to say they got outplayed. I don't think Pittsburgh played all that well because, like you said, you kind of shot yourselves in the foot with the drop passes. But the Ravens, I mean, you nailed it. The Ravens did it to themselves. Maybe inside the 5, at least inside the 10, I think, when Lamar tried to go to the corner and got picked off, way underthrew that ball into the end zone. I mean, that wasn't even close with OBJ going up. You got to go up top.
Yeah, it's probably Lamar trying to force something to happen at the end of the game.
No, and I get that, but if you're gonna like with OBJ, if you're gonna force something, you got to force deep. Like you got to be willing to miss deep, not short. You can't miss short. That advantage goes way too much to the cornerback. If you miss high, at least there's no true damage done other than you can come away with a field goal at the worst. But
yeah, that was Lamar's bad throw of the game. But other than that, Lamar played a pretty good game. Besides the one bad interception.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
not blaming.
a 49.7 QBR is a pretty good game. Not going to argue that with you, Luke. I think paying fucking Odell a contract up to $18 million and then only targeting him 4 times, and then you're targeting your rookie out there that doesn't even look. I mean, you had to waste a timeout because he goes out and doesn't even know the play 11 times. Like, you're going to have to start feeding the guys that know how to catch a ball.
didn't OBJ leave for an injury for a little while?
No,
Yeah,
equipment issue.
back.
Equipment issue.
Yeah.
Oh, equipment issue. That's right.
Yeah, I saw
Odell was never injured. You remember? Look at his tweet.
Oh.
He's not injured.
Yeah.
He'll miss games, but it's not because of injury.
No, I think, like I said, I think the drop passes played a huge role in that, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you Lamar Jackson played a good game. I don't think he missed a lot of open receivers, especially towards the end on that last drive right before his game-ending fumble, where he quite literally fumbled the game away. He had a man open in the flat and came up like 5 yards short, wide open. And I get it, it's in the flat, but that there's still room to run. Anybody can make a play happen. We've seen it, in running back screens all the time. So, you never know what's going to happen in that situation. But those are the kind of plays that you got to make. And when I'm paying a quarterback $250 million to go out there and ball out and be the leader of this team, I mean, that's the kind of plays that I'm looking for him to complete. It's the game-winning drive that Desmond Ridder can apparently do, but Lamar Jackson can't. That's where the real issue is when you're talking about
only
a leader of a
only
football
Ridder at
team.
home. Only a home Ridder can do.
No,
it.
I
You
know.
can't do
I
that
just
there.
give that as. I mean, that's not even a good example to use because that's congratulations.
Ridder would not have done that one because
First
that was
he
a
had.
road game. That was a road
Yeah,
game.
that's
Ridder would
happening.
not have done that.
If that's in the same boat next week, it's not happening. You know what I'm saying? He's not repeating that performance, but it doesn't take away from the fact that Lamar Jackson needs to take charge, needs to be managing this game better, making the right decisions. And for a guy that can scramble as well as he does, he just didn't seem comfortable getting out of the pocket and moving around.
TJ Watt's a scary dude back there too.
Well, TJ Watt's coming from one side. You know what I mean? Look at Justin Fields. Justin Fields knows where the pressure's coming at, and he's first move is moving to the other side of the pocket and scrambling. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's got to do to create space and then get space to make a play and get the ball down the field. But regardless, it doesn't change the fact that there's a veteran quarterback that's supposed to be a leader and didn't step up. Just looked weak.
Your defense also gave up 11 points in the fourth quarter. I mean, your team got outscored 14-0 in the 14-0 in the the fourth. So, I mean, you got to do a little better than that too. Your offense is picking up.
Wait, who gave up 11 points in the fourth?
The Ravens defense gave 11 points in the fourth.
But you said they got outscored 14-0 in the fourth?
14. There's a safety and something else that happened.
Yeah, that's why the score
Oh,
looks.
okay,
Score looks.
yeah.
It was not a normal way.
No,
to
I'm
get
sorry.
the score.
They gave up 9. It was 9-0. Or sorry, they outscored 9-0 in the fourth quarter on the defensive end.
Okay.
The safety was.
I was going to
That's
say that was
on the
very
offense,
confusing for a minute.
Yeah, we had some interesting coaching calls too. Harbaugh decided to go for it on a 4th and 2 instead of just kicking the easy field goal. So
I'm still
that definitely there was some pretty tough coaching in that one.
And I'm still on that wagon that John Harbaugh should be not saying he's going to get fired, but I've been saying it for a while. I mean, it's like Shannon Sharp says, it's a what have you done for me now lately league, not something that you keep your hat on that, 2012 I won you guys a fucking Super Bowl, so I should be here still. No, it's you have to update that resume, man. And like he has made questionable calls, not just this year. In the last few years, he's made some questionable calls that has cost him games, cost himself to win in big moments.
He likes to be a little more aggressive at most times, and recently hasn't been playing off like it used to, being an aggressive head coach. But
the Bengals.
I know I said a lot of very unchristian things about Lamar Jackson yesterday, but I have settled down since then. I know there's a lot of cause for alarm with the comments that were made in the group chat, but I have since calmed down. I've recovered a little bit. A lot of alcohol helped last night, so but we're back. We're back, and we're ready to get shit on next week as well.
And that's the Steelers and Ravens too. But the Bengals made a big win yesterday. Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow finally showed up together in the same game. Chris, is this the game that turns around the season? Big game at home. They've had to play the Seahawks upcoming, but is this the start for the Cincinnati Bengals to make a run for this division?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. I mean, the offense looked like it started to click a little bit. I mean, there were still some miscues on the offensive line and Joe Burrow. I mean, it still doesn't really look like Joe can move in the pocket. And I mean, he
had some good scrambles.
He had a couple good scrambles.
10-yard runs. He had some 10-yard runs.
Yeah, but I mean, every time he went to the sideline, it was his leg wrapped up in that pad. I mean, even himself came out, say he's still not 100%, give him a couple more weeks. But I mean, hey, it's a good start. I mean, they're still really behind in the division. So, but coming out, giving Jamar what he wanted. I mean, he's always open. So
he did say that after the game too. He said, "I'm always open."
He was always open this game.
He was like 15 to 17, dude. He was unbelievable.
Receptions,
15 to 19,
almost 200 yards,
the record.
3 touchdowns. All Joe Burrow's touchdowns. So I mean, if you lock down, you might have a triple team. Fucking Jamar Chase and the Bengals offense is done. Jamar Chase is that offense. Joe Burrow just kind of throws it up in his way, and Jamar Chase does Chase things.
You triple team him with T. Higgins still out. Well, yeah, you triple team him with T. Higgins on the field. I'm sorry, T. Higgins is gonna get some looks.
Yeah, T. Higgins is their number 3 wide receiver.
No, he's their number 2 receiver.
Number 2, but yeah.
Ish.
No, Bengals are.
I think Boyd's having a better year. I think Boyd's having a better year than Higgins.
Higgins has had a lot of drops this year.
Yeah, Higgins. He's had a bad year.
So Boyd is 20. So Boyd is 23 for 166 this year. I'll have to look up T. Higgins because he didn't play yesterday. You guys can keep it going.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. They look good. I mean, the defense still. Look, I think the off-season moves was we can risk getting rid of some of the secondary because we have such a high-power offense, and it blew up in their face this year in the beginning because their offense wasn't high power. So, I mean, we kind of see the effects of what happens when the offense does start clicking and relieves a little bit of pressure from that defensive side.
Yeah, this is probably the most Cincinnati I've seen them look all season, and teams got in a weird spot because Burrow's.
It's tough because they're going against the 1-4 Cardinals. The Cardinals have played decent this year, but still, Josh Dobbs and the Cardinals.
You can't put 1-4 on the Cardinals though. They are 1-4. Yeah, that's their record. But you have to give them some respect. I mean, they played San Fran hard.
Yeah, they play teams hard, but
they played Dallas hard.
They can't
beat Dallas. They beat Dallas.
They did beat Dallas.
Well, yeah,
they played New York hard, but I mean, New York's New York.
Yeah.
I mean, they had the Commanders and the Giants on the road too. So I mean, they were in the first 3 weeks. They were definitely in the game. They won the third game. The 49ers. They played them tough for a little bit, and then the 49ers said, "Fuck it."
in this game for a little bit. Josh Dobbs made a couple of bad throws. I think he threw 2 interceptions in this game.
One
It
pick
looked like the
six.
Josh Dobbs we. It's a Josh Dobbs we expected coming
one
into
was
the
pick
season.
6. So I mean, it sucks because I had jobs in my fantasy league this week, but still won.
And that was his first interception in his career, college and NFL, right? Or no?
No, I did guarantee he's throwing a college interception. There's no way.
No. I think he was under 10 because that was his 8th and 9th pick in his career.
Yeah, because I know at University of Tennessee he was throwing picks probably.
So
they weren't.
Without those 2 picks, probably a little different game for the Bengals. So I won't be too high on them just for beating the Cardinals.
First pick career wise in the NFL.
Gotcha.
Huh.
I mean,
Interesting.
he hasn't started much neither though. Too
Has he started anywhere else? Did he start with the Browns?
No.
Well, he was with the Browns and he was with the Steelers. I do remember that. I think he started maybe a game for the Steelers. I don't recall though, but still hasn't had much opportunity to throw an interception. But the Bengals
we'll see what they do against the Seahawks.
And then the Niners.
Bengals are at home, right? Against Seahawks?
Yeah, they're at home.
That helps. Traveling cross country.
And then I believe they're on a bye, and then they're on a bye week, and then they have to go to San Francisco, play I think at Buffalo. So it's a tough schedule ahead. Maybe they get the win on Seattle. They have a bye week, some momentum going into the week, and then you never know what's going to happen. I mean, they have the talent there. Teagan's hopefully should be back too to take the pressure off Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon, they're trying to get going. But hey, don't sleep on the Browns neither. They're only 2-2. They had early bye week.
Bye week for them.
Too early.
They do play the 49ers.
Early bye week.
They do play the 49ers next week, coming off the bye.
And Watson should be back too. Watson should be back too. They should be playing DTR anymore, hopefully, because that did not work out against the Ravens. And that's another thing I want to talk about too. Like the Ravens, I'm not saying like they're lucky, but they were very fortunate to play DTR. We don't know what have happened at Cleveland with Deshaun Watson. I think Deshaun being there takes a lot of pressure off the defense, keeps them off the field as much. They actually control the clock a little bit better. So that's where having a starting quarterback helps a little bit, is keeping the defense more fresh. So we don't know. We'll see what happens when they play at Baltimore, boys. But we mentioned the Niners. Is Big Cock Brock more than a game manager? Is he soon to be Mr. MVP? I mean, he's balling this year. No interceptions. Yeah, he might not be averaging 300 plus yards, but 250 plus, 260, and he's looking good. I think he's a little more than game manager. I think it's time to start putting some respect on this guy's name. I get it. It's a happy system there for QBs, but if it was such a good system, Trey Lance would have worked out, and Jimmy G would have worked out a lot better too. So I think it's time, boys, to start showing him some more respect. He's earning it.
Yeah, no. I was waiting for someone else to talk. Go ahead,
These
Doc.
guys were muted.
I had to unmute there. No, Brock's definitely looking good. I don't know if he's quite at that game management. I mean, I don't know what they're allowing him to call for audibles and calling plays in the huddle. I mean, he's still young. You know, he's only the second season, right? So I mean, he's still
not
growing.
even second season, like 10 games.
I mean, it looks like they don't need to call
second.
audibles.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes, his first start was in his second season.
He hasn't even played a full season yet.
Yeah, he's 10-0.
I know, but they still count your first year in the league as a season. I mean, you're still learning and everything else. But no, the development's definitely there, and I mean, good for him. He's got weapons, you know what I'm saying? So it helps make it a little bit easier to grow into that role. I'd love to see it keep going. I mean, this is a dangerous team. You know, one of the other teams that we talked about being one of the better teams in the league if Dak Prescott get his head out of his ass was the Dallas Cowboys, and they got absolutely shut down. Proof that we've seen from Dallas that if the defense doesn't ball out, Dallas is a shit team. Dallas is an absolute shit team. When we saw it yesterday, we saw it against the Cardinals. Struggles going on there. But, I mean, between Brock Purdy, CMC, you can, the Swiss Army knife and Deebo Samuel. George Kittle had a great game, 3 for 67. Ayuk, 4 for 58. I mean, this team is unbelievable. And good to see Juszczyk get another touchdown. Love to see that.
By the way, boy,
I missed Juszczyk on the Ravens.
Purdy's averaging 274.8 yards a game too, so it's not
impressive.
like a bad. It's a good number. Yeah, he's got 13. That was last year. My bad. I'm sorry.
And that's way better than fucking Jimmy G ever did on that team.
254.2. I'm sorry, but he's got 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, leads the league in quarterback rating, QBR. So
still
he's
better than
balling.
Jimmy G.
Yeah, I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
his QBR right now is 121.1 if you want to get technical.
Well,
and his first
the rating.
Yeah, his
QBR
rating.
83.7. It depends on which rating
Sorry,
you're
Rating
rating.
and QBR are different.
His passer rating is 121, which is the highest in NFL history for 10 games.
That's impressive. Yeah, that is very impressive. You're typically around like the 95 for good quarterbacks, maybe like 101.
And I know you were talking about how like you don't know how open the playbook is for him. I mean, I think we can see a big difference from his 5 games last year to this game is he's not doing the checkdowns. Like he's airing the ball out to Debo and Ayuk. Like I think he looks way more
comfortable.
And Kittle.
Yeah,
Kittle has one
game.
game. Let's chill.
But
he's
actually
big games.
Well, Kittle's having a down year. He's having a down year
to his standards, but yeah, he's had 2 good games this year.
No, but you're right. He definitely is looking way better in the pocket. He's letting the play develop, and you're right. That does attest to what kind of control they're having, because that's one of those. Hey, as soon as it starts to break, dump it off. Just get rid of it because we don't want the sack. We don't want to throw it away. We just need positive yards. So seeing him get that opportunity, to stay in the pocket and let the play develop and get the ball downfield is great. And you got a couple of guys with good speed, a couple of guys that'll go up and fight for the ball and come down with it, unlike OBJ in the corner of the end zone. So yeah, looking for a lot more great things from Brock Purdy going forward.
And who needs to call audibles? Who needs to call audibles when the offense is working with the plays you're calling the first time? There's no point in calling audible if you're just gonna fucking get 10, 15.
Yeah, you don't need to call audibles if you're playing offense like the San Francisco 49ers, not the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't see why. And I do think that right now the
Bears
MVP is
one win and they go crazy.
2 good offensive games, goddammit. 2 good offensive games.
Yeah, okay, and 1 win.
But I do think
one
the
win
MVP,
go crazy.
We got a lot of question marks on defense.
I do think though the MVP is between Purdy and Tyreek Hill. I think CMC's just because last game he took a step back, but Tyreek Hill's balling, and I think Purdy's put himself right there in the MVP spot. I think he is the quarterback. He's leading the quarterbacks in my opinion.
I think we are far too early to talk about MVPs. I think awards is a week 9 conversation.
Yeah, they at least make it to the end of the season
week
too.
9 or 10.
We
are. Yeah, we've seen all too often guys come out and dominate in the first 3, 4, 5 weeks and then fall off completely.
I'll take it back. I'll say this: he's playing the best quarterback out of all the performances. He's the best QB right now.
No, I'm not arguing your argument. I'm not saying that he's not in that conversation. I'm just saying that we gotta see some consistency here, and we got to go to midseason at least. Yeah.
Well, he's been
he's playing like it. Yeah, I agree with you. He's playing like it. We got to get to midseason before we.
He also does have.
That.
He has the best supporting cast with him too in the NFL, so that does help him.
So we didn't take that away from guys. Well, we didn't take that away from Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning and Patrick Mahomes when they're winning their MVPs and balling out neither. So. I mean, usually great quarterbacks have great talent around them. That's just the way that it works, typically.
In my opinion, and this is how it should be, and this is where it gets lost a lot. A lot of leagues treat the MVP differently, but the MVP, in some leagues it's just the best overall performer in the league, and some it's, who did the best for their team and got their team into the best position possible. And that's what matters to me, right? Because if you're taking the fucking 0-17 Panthers, and I don't give a shit how good of a year Bryce Young has or any receiver, running back, whatever. If you go 0-17, you don't have an MVP on that goddamn team. You don't. And MVP is what shoulders the team and gets them to the playoffs.
Yeah, that was the J.J. Watt effect the year that came down to him and Aaron Rodgers. J.J. Watt didn't get to the playoffs. They were a couple games out. Aaron Rodgers was like a top seed in the NFC that year. I think J.J. had 20-plus sacks, but, of course, the QB gets the fucking nod, unfortunately. But
when you talk about most valuable player, not best performing player, most valuable, who had the most value to their team, right? If it's down between a guy, no, I know, but I mean, if you're talking like Miami, you could make the argument for Tua and Tyreek Hill. Minnesota,
Tua's losing.
I don't think it's as much of an argument.
Tua's losing a step because of his turnovers. He's having a lot of questionable turnovers, which that's going to hurt.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why Tyreek Hill can step up there. Justin Jefferson had a big week. He can step up from Minnesota. Or he had a big week last week, right?
Now.
Yeah.
He's about to miss a couple of games.
So, yeah, that's right. I saw that. There's a lot that goes into it. But it's really who shoulders the load for their team and gets them into the best position. You know, honestly, you shouldn't even be in the MVP conversation if your team ain't playoff bound. You shouldn't.
So I have a couple things. I don't think you can't throw away CMC right now just because of the bad game he had, and then add Tyreek Hill. I mean, look at Tyreek Hill game last week against the Bills. He had 3 receptions, 58 yards, 0 touchdowns. 1 rush, 14 yards, 0 touchdowns. So got shut out that game. So I mean, you can't pull CMC out for one bad game and throw Tyreek Hill in there. With Brock Purdy, though, showing consistency, though, I mean, Brock Purdy is set up right now to have a run. His hardest defenses right now he's going to face is Cleveland next week. And if he does anything that he did against the fucking Dallas defense, going to have another great game. And then maybe Philly, which Philly's defense is still questionable. Everybody else on his schedule right now. And then, I mean, if Baltimore's defense decides to play Baltimore's defense, then...
So you're saying my prediction's right? They're gonna run the table.
No,
they
I
have
think
very good. They have a good shot. They have a good shot to have a trap game.
It crossed my mind this weekend.
It did cross my mind, but I do think that teams lose. I'm still thinking that their first loss is going to be Thanksgiving night in Seattle, just because of the environment. Seattle's going to be feeding off the 12th man. It's a night game Thursday. Yeah, that's the only reason why I'm expecting them to lose. But I just don't think.
And it's always that one game you don't expect, like them losing to the Texans or something, you know.
Their one loss is probably going to go to the Rams in Week 17 when everyone's sitting.
No, I think if they have a chance, they're playing for it. If they have a chance,
and like Chris said, I mean,
they already have it locked up.
McCaffrey for having one bad game, and honestly, McCaffrey's rushing numbers were down, but in reality, I mean, If the Cowboys' defense is good anywhere, it's on the run defense. They did a great job of stuffing him early in the game when he was getting the touches. They went to Jordan Mason late. His averages were a lot higher because Jordan Mason was in against a deflated Cowboys defense that just had no morale left. I mean, they were just like, hey, let's just brawl so we can like get the game called and get disqualified. I don't know. Nobody wanted to be there. They just looked weak. What's his name on? Why am I drawing a blank? Van Esch?
Parsons?
No, Van Esch. Even he
left the game.
Even he took an injury, so he get out. Even he knew that he wanted out of that dumpster fire.
He's out a few weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. They're projecting right now.
Yeah, even he wanted out of that dumpster fire, so he had to let somebody roll his ankle.
How many neck injuries does that dude have at this point? I think every year.
That's been
every year he gets a fucking.
Well,
every year he gets a neck injury though. Yeah,
every year he ran right. I know, but he ran right into like Parsons, and it was a bad angle too. He took so.
But they have Mike Parsons all upset on fucking his live stream too.
Well, fuck.
And in McCaffrey's bad game, he still got a score. So,
well, if you like in the game preview, I told y'all like Dallas has been all over Christian McCaffrey. He's only averaged 60 yards when he faces Dallas. So I mean, getting 51 yards, that's pretty much right there.
Yeah,
I mean,
let's talk.
He should have had two, but he had that fumble.
Oh, that shit.
You just want to move on to the Cowboys?
Talk about that.
Yeah, that
was my 100-point win.
So you mentioned, I know you guys are going to hammer Dak, but I understand Dak had 3 interceptions, but this game was not just on Dak. I mean, the defense gave up 42 points.
No, so the whole fucking season is on Dak. Every year, the whole season is on Dak.
The guy, you can't. I'm sorry, they gave up fucking 42 points to have a QB put up 43 on one of the top defenses in the league. I'm sorry, I'm not saying Dak's not at fault, but to sit here and just it's Dak.
It also does.
All I heard.
It doesn't help going fucking not getting your first down until like the second quarter. You don't have a first down until the second quarter. Your defense will be fucking tired. So
Dak has had 2 years that I would call good years. 2 good years in his NFL career.
Yeah, just like Luke said, I mean, I said it last week with the Saints. I mean, if your offense is not getting those first drives and those long drives and you're going 3 and out every fucking play, your good defense is going to wear out. I mean, they're on the field constantly. And so like you said, Mark, like I'm not completely blaming Dak Prescott, but he showed this game that if the defense is not turning it over at the 30-yard line of the opponent's team, he's not scoring a touchdown. He's not driving down the field. They did not get into the red zone all fucking game. For 60 minutes, they did not enter the red zone once.
Well, they're also one of the worst teams in the red zone this year too. So it's probably a good thing they didn't.
Well,
get
good thing they didn't get in there
yeah.
then. So
Dak Prescott did.
I mean, Tony
Prescott does.
He got lucky on one deep ball. That was like a good catch by a wide receiver. He got lucky on that one.
Tony Pollard didn't look good neither. Like I'm saying, it was the whole offense in general.
Yeah,
Just
Pollard had a
sucked. I
fumble.
mean,
it's
Yeah.
so hard though to gauge this offense right now because Fred Warner played fucking lights out. He
He's
played
the
a
best
phenomenal
linebacker.
game. Yeah, like this defense took it personal, like Micah Parsons wants to say, and they came out and they played fucking phenomenal.
and I love that George Kittle shirt he had
That
too.
pick
by
by
the way.
Warner was dope too.
The fuck Dallas shirt though was the best thing of the night too. Having
Yeah.
he forgot he had it though. He said when he pulled it up, he's like, oh shit, I forgot I had it on. He said it on the Pat show today. So
No, he did that shit on purpose.
oh yeah, it was personal. It was personal for Dallas. I mean, and then
I think
shame on Mike.
it wasn't even his touchdown he did it on, so he knew he had that shit on. He did it on
And
somebody
Micah
else's
Parsons,
touchdown.
Micah Parsons said they were only a few plays away from changing the game, and I think maybe he meant in the first quarter. I don't know if he meant the whole 4 quarters of the game because the game was over
No, he
essentially
was-
after the first quarter.
He was
Well,
onto
they-
something. It was a few plays every drive because Dallas just couldn't extend the drive. A lot of 3 and out, a lot of unable to move. Like Luke said, I mean the first down that they had, I think, was in the second quarter. I mean, they couldn't get the ball moving. They couldn't move the sticks. They couldn't get anything going. And to talk about, Tony Pollard not having a good game, Tony Pollard didn't have a terrible game, and he averaged 3.6. The guy had 8 carries for 29 yards. But when you fall down,
Terrible. He
that's
had a
not
fumble.
terrible, dude. That's Josh Jacobs is terrible this year. Okay,
Three.
Josh Jacobs is averaging
3.6
like 2 yards a carry. 3.6 is not
good for running back. That's not good for a running back.
No, I
Not
didn't
for
say
a
it was
top running
good.
back.
I didn't say it was good. I said it's not terrible. But when you fall down that hard that early to an offense like the 49ers, you abandon the run game. But the problem is they got into the passing game and still they couldn't move the chains either way. It didn't matter what they did. Pollard didn't get enough touches to really determine if he had a good game. He had 8 carries. What are you going to determine on 8 carries?
The Cowboys were down 7-0, and Tony Pollard fumbled the ball on their side of the 50-yard line and gave them short field for the 49ers to score right on the first play, or literally the second play, I'm sorry. Actually, then the defense got it back for them, too. So Pollard gave up the ball when there's still a close game.
That shit happens though. Like fumbles
Okay,
happen.
yeah,
Like,
that doesn't mean
But that's-
Pollard had a terrible game. He didn't fumble the rock 3 times.
If interceptions are bad for quarterbacks, fumbles are bad for running backs.
I
You
mean,
can't sit there and say that happens for the
look. I'm not, dude.
It happens for quarterbacks, too.
You think I'm telling you that Pollard had an amazing fucking game and he's going to be MVP? I didn't
It's a
say
terrible
Pollard
game.
had a good game. I said he didn't play a terrible game. He didn't play terrible.
Terrible's 8 for 29 and the fumble. That's terrible. That's a terrible game for a top running back in the league. That's like saying Dak didn't play terrible.
So he played terrible because the coach called for him 8 times on the run.
because he was not producing anything early on for them to show any potential as well. It doesn't just say, well, we're down fucking – if you're still down 14-0, you're still going to run the ball. Are you not? You're not just going to sit there and throw the ball every single play.
I mean,
you still have a chance to
So
run
if
the
he
ball.
came out looking like Cam Akers with fucking 30 carries and 35 yards, that's a great game because he had 30 carries.
I didn't say that was a good game either.
And I'm not saying he played a good game today. I'm just saying
the yards per carry is not 100% on him. The O-line's not helping him out. Like,
I mean, he didn't do anything in the passing department either. I mean, that's where he's electric as well, right? I don't think Tony Pollard is Tony Pollard like we think he should be neither.
he's not throwing the ball.
The
Who
whole
didn't do anything
offense
in the
sucks.
passing game? Who didn't do anything in the passing game?
Tony Pollard didn't produce anything for checkdowns either. If he's so electric and all like he's supposed to be,
He was 4 for 5 for 35 yards.
One of
Tony
those
Pollard-
was 26 yards.
I think Tony Pollard is a little overrated. I think he's a number 2 running back when they weren't playing.
I agree.
for him.
I agree with that.
So
I agree with that,
As a
but
number 1
dude,
running back, 8 for 29 is bad. That's horrible. And CMC's game is horrible if he doesn't have a touchdown. So, like, I'm sorry. Like, that's if you're the number 1 running back and they say the team goes through the running the game for the Dallas Cowboys, you need to set that tone as well. Because early in the game, when they had the ball the first drive, they went 3 and out. Well, they have a couple runs, right?
When did he?
So, like,
do you know when he got his 8 touches?
All right, so here's
Did all
First
those 8
drive,
touches
right?
come early?
First drive, he had the ball. Didn't fuck. He kept them behind the sticks. 2nd and 9 is what you forced them. The Cowboys did now do for 2 drives. So one run on the first drive for 1 yard. The second drive, he passed it short to Tony Pollard. Yeah, he got -1. And then so now they're behind the sticks. So now they're gonna have to throw it. Pollard didn't do anything for that. The fucking next drive, he fumbled the ball. Didn't do anything for that team. It's 7-0. And because they fumbled the ball, they didn't fucking have a chance. They didn't fucking trust them, so they threw the ball 3 times in a row. And then they had a touchdown that made it 14-7.
They threw the ball 3 times in a row because they didn't trust him. Come on, dude.
They didn't trust him. The dude was getting stuffed, and he's fucking fumbling the ball. Like, it's not on Dak. It's not all on Dak, is what I'm saying. To sit here and say Dak sucks, you better say the whole team sucks. Because it wasn't just Dak Prescott.
So to the first 2 drives, one run, one pass. For the third drive, 1 run.
Everybody was
through the first 3 drives.
Yeah, but like to sit and rip Dak Prescott is just it's ridiculous. I'm not saying Dak's great.
Show me something where Dak is a good quarterback. Show me anything.
I didn't say he was good.
He's
but
had maybe 2 good years.
3 interceptions does not help Dak's case on this.
You have a right.
Well, yeah.
You have a right to rip Dak, but I mean the whole team played shitty. I mean Parsons had 2 pressures the entire game. Like Parsons
100%. No, I think the whole team played like dog shit. I'm not saying this was solely Dak.
Armstead locked him up. Well, he's best tackle in the game right now.
Yeah,
right?
but when y'all are texting throughout the whole game saying Dak sucks, you ain't saying Cowboys sucks, Pollard sucks.
Because he fucking does. Dak does.
No,
suck.
I
doesn't
not
take
disagree.
away from it.
But when you don't sit here and saying, "Wow, Pollard sucks," he fumbled the ball. Wow, the defense sucks. They give up 42 points. It's only Dak.
It's the same thing you guys just did with Lamar. You just said
no. I know.
Lamar.
No, I blame the running. I blame the quarterback. I blame the receivers, and I blame the defense in the fourth quarter. I didn't just blame Lamar Jackson. Don't say you guys. Say Doc. Say Doc said that because I did not say one thing about the Ravens. Only Lamar Jackson.
Lamar is shit. Damn it. Shit.
But boys, let's move on. That New England Patriots. Is it finally time to blow up this fucking team? Get rid of Bill Belichick, maybe as both the GM and head coach. If he doesn't want the head coach or the GM role or the head coach role, get a new GM. Is it time just to blow it up? Like he has not done anything.
Robert Kraft has to have a serious conversation with Belichick, sit him down and say, hey, because Belichick has not proved that he can be an efficient GM right now. He needs to sit down and say, look, you either step down from GM and just focus on coaching or retire. Get out of here. Because Belichick has proven that he can't do both.
Yeah, I think it's
not
been
since Brady. Yeah,
it's been a very long time since I think they even had like a good, like solid team together too.
Well, they were in the playoffs in 2021, which was Mac's rookie year.
But like the team that they've built has not been on paper very good either. Like it's been Tom Brady carrying the team because he's like fucking Tom Brady.
Well, yeah,
but like
Brady covered up the offense for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, now Brady's not there, and now all these fucking mid-tier fucking wide receivers aren't cutting it.
And they're hiring.
Yeah, you got these
and letting
washed up wide receivers aren't going to get the job done for fucking Mac Jones throwing the ball.
They hurt Mac Jones
watching
last year
Ramondre on the sideline, looking like, "Why am I here?"
I mean, if you had Tom Brady back there with Zeke, I mean, it might be a different story. But now Zeke with fucking Mac Jones not going so well.
Well, Zeke's done anyways. But I think last year it started when Josh McDaniels took the Raiders coaching job, and then you bring in Joe Judge and Matt Patricia, a defensive specialist and a special team specialist, to be Mac Jones' offensive coordinator to help develop this second-year quarterback. And then, I'm not saying Mac Jones is great, not at all, but you don't even give him a chance to develop at all. You give up these fucking horrible coordinators that are not meant to be offensive coordinators to help him out. It doesn't work. You're bringing in shit fucking talent. Juju's all right as a 2.
That's what I said earlier.
Patrick Mahomes is number 1 quarterback.
That's what I said before the season. They're handcuffing him. They're trying to run him out of town. They're trying to make him the fall guy for the entire operation instead of Bill. They're trying to make it Mac Jones's fault, and it's not. He doesn't have the tools to work with. Yes, they brought in the fuck is his name?
They brought in Bill O'Brien is offensive coordinator.
No, the receiver.
They brought in Juju and Kendrick Bourne.
Is it Bill O'Brien, like a defensive guy too?
No, he's offensive coordinator. He was
But
the
he
coordinator with
sucked
Brady.
last year. He sucked last year at Alabama. Like, you can't expect him to come in and be phenomenal with the talent that the Patriots have right now.
And the talent he had the first time in New England was Tom Brady, and then he goes to coach Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins. So, like, I mean, is it really you, or is it the talent that was there?
Well, exactly. And, like, yeah, I'm going to compare it to fucking Sean Payton. Like, is Tom Brady and Belichick the same thing as fucking Drew Brees and Sean Payton? Then these quarterbacks make these coaches.
I mean, it could be some of the team. Like, I don't think a lot of the team likes Mac Jones. I think they're getting kind of tired of him, like, doing his, like, dirty antics, like, during games too. So I've seen some rumblings from, like, some of the players saying, like, they don't like Mac Jones taking these, like, dirty shots, like kicking dudes in the balls or fucking doing all the other shit he's doing. So I mean, he may not be a good person.
He's had attitude
overall
problems. I mean, last year he was screaming at Judge and Patricia almost every game. It seemed like they were ripping.
So, I mean,
That's because, again, it goes back to they were handcuffing him.
The team could be running back too. They don't like him.
They're handcuffing him. He had a new offensive coordinator every year that he's been there, I'm pretty sure. Like you said, Mark, like they're not investing in him. Look at the talent around him. I mean, the best that they invested in him is Ramondre Stevenson. That's the highest right now that they've invested in him.
Juju ain't had a good year since 2020, and even that wasn't like a top tier year. It was a good year. It wasn't
solid last year, but it was different because you were playing the number 2 role behind Kelsey, so you had that chance to go back to number 2 position, essentially. Number 1 receiver, but number 2 target guy. And I think that Mac Jones too, like, I mean, his offensive line sucks too. Like, it's not, the O-line can't protect him. Like, he's getting hit every single fucking play. He can't do anything. He's obviously not mobile like Lamar Jackson and Fields and, you know, Josh Allen, guys like that. So you don't expect him to go out there and fucking scramble his ass off. But
there isn't a whole lot of good about the Patriots right now. I mean, the one thing they had going for them, even in the Mac Jones era, was the defense, and even that has looked shaky at best this year. I mean, no offense to the Saints.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm happy the Saints finally came out and played, you know, what the Saints could play offensively with the wide receiver court they have. Kamara's back. Derek Carr. You know, Derek Carr is Derek Carr. You know, you don't know which one you're going to get every week, but it was nice to see him finally come out and do what they're capable of doing, because they definitely didn't put that up last week. It's been a struggle to watch them so far this season. So coming out and fucking blanking them 34-0 was very enjoyable to watch.
Well, the defense
Carr looked a lot better fully healthy.
Well, yeah. Plus you're playing a beat up Patriots defense too. Like Matthew Judon didn't play. Their secondary is pretty much all gone at this point. I mean,
and we were playing a very beat up Tampa defense also, and you could tell that the injury to Derek Carr was affecting him.
Yeah,
but I mean, I would say
you played a beat up Patriots defense.
I don't think you can go wrong with either one of those quarterbacks. Honestly,
Matthew Judon was a game changer. I miss him. Too.
I do think, though, the defense has only been bad the last couple weeks for the Patriots. Weeks 1 through 3, they were solid. Yeah, they got fucking – and this is the 2 worst losses, by the way, for the Patriots with Bill Belichick. But the defense has been shit the last 2 weeks. Maybe, like you guys just said about the Cowboys, the offense isn't doing any favors when they just keep going back on the field. They're fucking tired and shit. So
it also doesn't help.
And that makes a huge difference.
Not help at all.
Where do the rest of these Saints touchdowns come from?
Olave had a touchdown, too.
One was a pick six.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that was an early one too, wasn't it? Wasn't that like one of the first plays of the game? Was that pick six
from the Honey Badger?
Tyrann Mathieu.
No, it was like the second drive.
Yeah, I was seeing Lynn Kamara to Carr. I'm like, where are the rest of these points at? But,
and that's another thing about Mac Jones is that he makes bad decisions. Like, instead of taking a sack, he tries to save the play, throw it up, and
he might got to get that eye surgery like Jameis. See if that'll save his career.
Hey, Jameis did eat a W this weekend.
Jameis did eat a W.
I saw it. Oh, God,
I missed that. Damn it.
He had negative points in fantasy too, by the way.
It doesn't matter. He still ate a W.
He ate a W this
week. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think the clock, though, is coming up. It's starting to fucking strike midnight on Bill Belichick. And if I'm Robert Kraft, like you said, Chris, time to have that conversation, because there's nothing there for them to sell. Like, there's nothing to give up. They don't have much to just fucking trade away for draft picks. So they better start thinking about the future real quick, because New England is in shambles at the moment.
Yeah, like I said before, you need to step away from that GM spot. And they're going, what's their fucking week 6 one? I'm trying to pull it up.
They're playing against the Raiders.
No.
It's Josh McDaniels.
Oh, yeah,
Former
they are.
offense. So we'll see what they
Survivor
do.
pick
And
right there.
Is that a Sunday night game? Is that a Sunday night game? Hopefully.
No, it's a 3:00 slot.
Oh, damn.
Yes.
They should flex that one. Flex that. I feel like they only put shitty games on primetime now.
Yeah,
so, like, the
I
problem-
love what they're doing, man. Honestly, it shocked me to see the Bears Commanders after last year's 12-9 barn burner. That was not a result of good defense by any means. And then to see him come back and put that game on Thursday night again, I mean, at least it was entertaining this year, but they had to keep with the theme somehow by matching the Raiders and Packers for Monday night.
We expected the Niners and Cowboys to be good. It wasn't like, we were expecting a 42-10 blowout. And I think the problem is that no matter what game
No, but they
put
should
on,
have
it seems like
audibled. They should have audibled and moved that game to Monday night.
you can't do that.
You can't move days.
You can only flex Sunday's games.
Oh, okay.
It was the most watched Week 5 game in NFL history. I think it was like 25 million people watched it.
The problem is no matter what games they put on, like we're expecting some of these games to be really good, but they just seem to be very shit. It's just that's the way it's going. And the problem is the way they're doing the schedules this year is different. They let companies bid on games instead of placing them with their certain company. Like Fox and CBS usually have the AFC and NFC. They got away with that. It's whoever bids the highest, and then they place it where they want to with the schedule makers. So it's a little different.
All about
this year.
that money.
All about the money. But boy, speaking of money, are the London Jaguars finally back? They go there 1-2, they come back 3-2. Are the Jacksonville Jaguars finally the team? This is the team that we expected. I know they were a little sloppy still on the offensive end, but hey, the Bills defense is pretty good. Kyle really got involved. The defense looks solid. Are the Jacksonville Jaguars finally going to make a run that we were expecting them to do coming into the season?
No, I'm not convinced quite yet. I mean, they came out and did what we expect them to do for being the London Jaguars. I mean, I think everybody, I think even you were taking them over the Falcons last week. Embarrassing showing by the Bills, and this is what I just love so much about the NFL. You got the Dolphins drop 70 on the Broncos, get shit on by the Buffalo Bills, who play terribly and lose terribly to the Jaguars, who have played like absolute shit all season long. The NFL just doesn't make any goddamn sense to me. No, I don't think
anybody can win.
I know. Any given Sunday, I know. I don't think Jacksonville's back yet. I still need to see consistency there. More than I need to see it outside of London because this is what happens every year. Now,
this week too.
Last year, it was what turned their season around. And
watch out for Minshew.
Hey, Minshew.
Luke will tell you.
Well, he won last week too. So
we're going to talk about that in a second too.
Minshew could play. I think Minshew's better passer than fucking AR.
No, I think I just need to see the consistency outside of. All right, yeah, y'all go ahead. We're on a whole new topic, I guess.
Make Doc butthurt. Go ahead, Doc. Go ahead.
Nope,
Doc.
we're good. So next thing is Richardson soft? Is he soft? Is he going to battle a whole career full of injuries? Since we're on Minshew, is he the next starter in Indianapolis? I mean, the way Richardson's out, what, 4 to 6 weeks?
The way the Colts are using him, yeah, he's going to be injured very much every other
landing
game.
on your shoulder, on your throwing shoulder, the way he landed too, it's a bad spot. I mean, that could happen to any quarterback. The first was a concussion, so I mean,
I get that, but he's already missed 2 weeks earlier this season.
I mean, the Colts right now are top 3 in designed quarterback runs.
Well,
so I mean, their game plan right now is to run the quarterback.
The concussion.
I got a lot of question marks right now with Richardson. I mean, I get what you're saying, but he's got to learn how to fall. Then he's got to learn how to go down. I know you can't always control it, but he's got to find a way to try to find a softer landing spot and stay on the field.
Try not to turn into RG3 here and just
because that's what I was. RG3 was going to get RG3 here real quick.
Yeah, RG3 is fucking. He was not sliding for anything.
Well, he's also playing in a crappy field too. Sliding on that field, you might break your knees just sliding on FedEx Field too.
Haloti Ngata ended his career with the Ravens.
Well, so the thing about RG3 was his leg injury. He didn't miss time from it, but was the Falcons hit when he dove. We played him that year, and when he dove, he got hit, and when he turned sideways, our defender fucking hit his leg, and he was hurt the rest of the year. But then the Vikings playoff game, he fucked the field so shit when he fucking tried redoing his footing. He snapped his leg in half, essentially. So the field's what did it. I'm not blaming any team. That field's shit. And FedEx, it hurt fucking Joe Burrow, too. And it ruined Alex Smith's career.
The Falcons like hitting those legs. Lost Tom Brady.
Yeah, sure.
Poor Alex Smith.
But no, back to the Jaguars. So I think they are going to show some potential here. I think they're going to play the Colts. My survivor pick, I think I'm going Duval County. I think it's time to use a shit team, essentially. No AR. I think Jacksonville will do what the Ravens couldn't do and beat Minshew.
I hope Minshew comes out for 500 yards and 6 touchdowns.
And if he loses, he loses. I mean, if we lose, we lose. But I mean, that's why I think I'm going right now. But then they play the Saints on Thursday Night Football in the Dome. So you're not in Survivor.
Yeah.
So you would.
Trevor Lawrence. Everyone can admit he played a very diminished Bills defense. Both corners out. They lost their star middle linebacker early in the game. Like it wasn't even late in the. Yeah. So I mean, it's only a broken leg. He might come back faster than Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is already out there throwing the football, so we'll see. He's smoking them special mushrooms.
Rodgers thinks he's coming back this year.
No, it's the pills that he gets at halftime, like he did against the Bears on the 100-year anniversary.
And J.K. Dobbins are rehabbing together too.
Yeah, so I mean,
he
did play a very depleted defense with the Bills, but I know that I was feeling it, and clearly Stephon Diggs was feeling it on the sideline, was that offense for the Bills something was wrong. It wasn't clicking. It felt like every drive was a 3-and-out. They might get a big play, and then it was another 3-and-out. They just had trouble driving the field, and I think the whole Bills team just got frustrated.
That long flight killed them.
I still think
it is bullshit that they let the Jags stay there for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that is
that does make a
significant advantage. Yeah, that is an advantage right there.
It is. I do think, though, the Bills' defense, I said it last week when they lost White, the defense still has pretty good depth. And the defense didn't play bad neither against the Jaguars. I'd say I blame the offense for the Bills. But, no, I think the Jaguars could make that run. Like you said, the London, whoever said it, and this I think it was Doc, the London is when they turned it around last year. So I guess we'll see. They came back 3-2, and they're tied for first place in the division. Have a few decent games before they play the Niners. So I think Jacksonville can make a run before that Niners game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still pretty high on the Jags too. I was high on the Jags all season. I still think they have one of the most talented offenses on paper. So it's just put everything together, and maybe this London trip was a good bonding experience for them. I mean, they couldn't go anywhere without being with team members. So I mean, maybe they bonded a little bit, and they're good to go now. But we'll see against the Colts and Gardner Minshew. Don't be sleeping on Gardner Minshew because he can still play, and he won the Colts game yesterday.
He's about to fucking take the Jags on a mustache ride.
He's a cool looking dude.
He is a pretty cool looking dude. The old Cougar, former Cougar. So
yeah,
watch out for him this week. Former Jaguar too. This is a revenge game, I guess you could say.
Oh, there you go. Hey, it could be different now.
Because they drafted Trevor Lawrence to replace Gardner Minshew. So
he's coming for that ass.
But hey, boys, let's move on to a team that I know at least me, Luke, and Chris are a fan of. That's led by Motor City, Dan Campbell, MCDC, the Detroit Lions, red hot at the moment on a 3-game winning streak. They went out there. I know it was just the Carolina Panthers. They beat them by 21, but are the Detroit Lions quietly creeping, just a little, pouncing like a lion would do, pouncing for that top team? I know the Niners are still there, but are they making that case where they can compete with the Niners and the big boys now?
Yeah, I mean, first, you have to feel bad for Mosley over there, tearing his other ACL, his first game back from tearing his other ACL last year. So, I mean, big loss there. But, I mean, Detroit's playing hot. I mean, Jared Goff is balling out. The run game there. And they still haven't even released Gibbs yet. I mean, he's still there, just resting up for the end of this season. Sam Laporta, I mean, maybe the steal of the draft. I mean, I know it was only like a second-round pick, but still, he best tight end right now in the league, probably.
He's doing big things.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably say he's playing the best right now as a tight end position right now. And then Montgomery's playing lights out. Fucking what else? Aiden
James-
Hutchinson. Don't even get me started on Aiden Hutchinson. Jesus.
Jameis
Well,
Wilson.
that's the problem with Detroit, though. Is there ain't a whole lot of other names you're mentioning on defense outside of Hutchinson.
Brian
the defense
Branch
is getting it done.
the big question mark.
It's their young boys there, like Brian Branch. He's been playing hot. Every time I watch the Lions, the safety out of Alabama's out there. Jack Campbell, another big boy out of Iowa.
But I think when you're talking about comparing them to the Niners and are they ready to compete, I think that the defense is where it's going to turn into at best a shootout, at the very best a shootout, and that's if the Lions offense can keep up with the Niners defense. And I think they can. I mean, they've got all the weapons. They've got the run game. Jared Goff, if he's playing like prime Ram Goff and not later year Ram Goff, he's playing much better than he was in those last couple of years in LA. But the receivers, there's been some injuries going on there. So as long as they're healthy, Laporta has been incredible for this team. So the offense, I have no questions about the offense. I have no question about the offense. The defense is what was a problem last year. Just went down.
Jerry Jacobs, Doc, the corner's got 3 interceptions for the Lions too. I think he's up there in the lead.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's great, but that's one. You know what I'm saying? The Lions invested a lot in their defense in the offseason, and we talked about that in one of the preseason shows, but we're still seeing a lot of numbers going up against them. So that's where my concern is in the Lions defense. I think there are some star pieces in the defense. The offense is clicking, doing very well, but I think in the long run, the defense they've got to come together and they've got to find a way to close down some of the holes.
Are you saying that they've given up a lot of points this year? Is that what you said?
I'm pretty sure they gave up 30. I know they gave up 30-something to Seattle.
So, yeah, Seattle. So they gave up 20 to the Lions or the Chiefs. They gave up 6 to the Falcons. Yes, 37 to the Seahawks, 20 to the Packers, and garbage time points to the Panthers, who got 24. Those were late time scores that the game
I don't give a shit about garbage time points. 24 to the Panthers is rough.
Well, your backups are at that point. There's no Aiden Hutchinson out there.
We know that for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the late game.
Adam Thielen scored in like the last minute. Like your starters aren't out there when you're up 40 points.
And if they are, they're not playing 100%. Like they're playing prevent defense.
You're playing soft. You're playing soft defense.
It was 28-10 going into the half. or into the fourth quarter. They scored like the first play in the fourth quarter made 35-10. So pretty sure at that point, Craig Reynolds scored the last touchdown. So that's not David Montgomery.
I also think like if you can't compare NFC teams to the Niners. Like when you start comparing teams, you got to start who's battling for that second position, because the Niners game this weekend showed that they might be the best team in the league, but they're hands down the best team in the NFC.
Yes, Niners best team in the NFL. I'm not arguing that at all. I don't
know. Lions run defense has been fucking superb this year, but their secondary, like I said, that's where I'm sticking. Their secondary has not looked too superior. I'm not saying they look bad, but I'm not saying they don't look Niners ready.
That's what's going to happen when you have injuries. But they've been able to step up with these rookies and free agents that they've signed.
We're going to see.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see. I do think the Lions are like they're quietly. They're like no one's really talking about them that much. It's like
they were one of my underdogs to win the North.
Oh, I had them winning the North. It was an underdog. I had the Lions winning the North. I had the
when we did the standings 100 times to start the season, I ended up having the Bears way higher than I should have, obviously, and hopefully we don't recap that later in the season. But before all that happened, my original was that the Lions, like my thought before going through the schedules and everything, my thought was that the Lions were the only team that were going to battle Minnesota, and I didn't even think it was going to be that close of a battle for Detroit to take the division. I thought this would be the first year in ever that I can remember that Detroit would actually win the division.
The Lions defense will have a tough matchup. We're going to break it down tomorrow. They play Baker Mayfield and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa.
Coming off a bye.
They moved it to the 4
big weekend for Baker last weekend too. I'm sure he's fired up.
So we'll see what he's having. Yep, he's having a big weekend because of the Oklahoma game. He was on the sideline. He was out there, guest picker. So he's feeling hyped up right now. We're going to see what. Like I said, we'll predict that game tomorrow. I don't think we're all going to be on Detroit's team or Detroit's bandwagon for this pick. But guys, our last topic, it was the revenge game for Nathaniel Hackett. As you know, the New York Jets went out there. Aaron Rodgers tweeted, saying hashtag Hackett with a heart emoji. Nathaniel Hackett got the win. And by the way, boys, through 5 games, Sean Payton has got a worse record than Nathaniel Hackett did. Is Sean Payton a worse coach for the Denver Broncos than Nathaniel Hackett?
Oh, yeah, obviously it looks like it. I mean, you're going to talk shit about somebody and do a worse job at the same exact job with close to the same team, same quarterback, and like they're still not winning games. Like they got lucky to win their one game. They could be very, very well not have like no wins this season still.
I don't think a 20-point comeback is lucky, but yeah.
Yeah, because the Commanders came back against them, so you can say that you can reverse the roles if you really want to.
Yeah, they beat the only team they've beaten hasn't won a game yet. So I mean, they're not doing well over in Denver. I mean, it sucks for.
I'm sorry. What was that last? What was that last you just said? The only team they beat what?
Did not
the
have
only team
record.
Denver has not won a game.
Watch your fucking mouth, buddy. We won on Thursday night. Okay.
But Luke, you can say that same thing with the Commanders. They had to have a big comeback against the Broncos. I mean, if you're saying that they shouldn't have come back against the Bears, then the Commanders should have come back against the Broncos. It goes both ways.
Still worse record than Nathaniel Hackett had. Either way.
Yeah, I mean the Broncos aren't fucking playing terrible. The only terrible game they've really had was the Miami game that they got fucking blown the fuck out. But losing by a point to
I thought that was a good game. Close.
Losing by a point.
Oh, yeah, no, they're playing terrible. They're playing terrible. Well, the defense is playing terrible. The offense is doing better this year.
The defense is
they're giving
terrible,
up they're giving
36
up
points a game.
Sunbelt playing SEC style defensive numbers.
If this was the same defense
that
Nathaniel Hackett had last year, it'd been way worse for Nathaniel Hackett.
But the defense is blowing these games. The offense is putting up points. I mean, 1 point against the Raiders. 3? They come back to Chicago.
The Broncos are averaging 24 points on the offense. They're giving up 36 on the defense. So I don't think, and yes, Sean Payton's the coach, so he oversees everything, but they're both offensive specialists, Nathaniel Hackett and Sean. So you know where they lie at. So Nathaniel Hackett's defense was playing better last year than Sean Payton's defense is this year. That's the reason why he probably won those 2 games, in my opinion.
I don't know. Yeah. I think there's a lot of talent in Denver. Russell Wilson's a problem. Russell Wilson's got to go. I think that they brought in a guy from Seattle, thought that he was going to be their saving grace, thought he was going to play Seattle-type football, and he has not stepped up to the plate even in the slightest. I think it's time to cut ties with that, go for a quarterback in the draft, tank the season, get a quarterback, or sign somebody, get somebody off free agency, trade, whatever you got to do. And I think that's their only missing piece. I don't think their run game is weak. 22 and 139, they average 6.3 a carry. The receivers, the biggest thing on the receivers is the injuries. If they're staying healthy, they're good. They've got a pretty good defense. Well, let me walk that back a little bit. They've got potential to have a good defense, but they haven't been clicking so far this year. And I think that might be in that transition, switching off of having, Vic Fangio and having a defensive-minded coach to Sean Payton, and now going back to offense. You see that missing the transition a lot when you go from a defensive to an offensive-minded head coach. I've definitely seen it in Chicago many times, but
the defense was good last year. Defense was good last year.
That's what I'm saying. You had Vic Fangio as a head coach, though.
No,
didn't they to start the season?
No, Nathaniel Hackett.
It was Hackett.
No, Nathaniel Hackett was.
So, I had to sit here and say that Russ is the only. Once again, I go to that thing.
Oh, that's right, because that was Hackett's first season. He got fired, right?
Yeah.
And Sean Payton said it's the worst head coaching job he's ever seen, and now Sean Payton has a worse record.
And shame on the reporter yesterday that asked him that same question. Hey, how do you feel now? Like, you take that back? I get it. He said it, but he did, like he said, the next day he fucking apologized. So you want him to fucking 2 months later come back and say the same shit? He said, it was just starting drama all over again. So once again, the reporter asked dumb questions to piss off Sean Payton just to get him fired up. It was a dumb fucking question too.
Well, and that's the other dumb shit that's leading into this. You know what I mean? Like just like that situation. This is all distraction. The whole Russell Wilson thing when Sean Payton came in. I mean, it's just taken away from what you're really here to accomplish, and that's football.
Yeah,
we live for the drama.
They got a tough one on the road this week against KC. So I mean, they could very well be 1-5 going into next
Well,
week.
I still think that Sean Payton is coaching better offense than Nathaniel Hackett was. It's just the defense. I mean, you give up 36 points a game. So what do you want Russell to do? Like, I mean, I don't give a shit if you're Patrick Mahomes. You're not with this team. You're not fucking scoring 37 points a game to outscore.
You want Russell Wilson not to scramble outside the pocket and then fumble the ball.
Yeah.
You want him to fucking be smart with the ball.
No, I get that, but
the quarterback you paid, like Russell Wilson's making a lot of money.
Hey, Patrick Mahomes is getting paid big money, and he's not putting up 37 points a game neither. So like Patrick Mahomes is 4-1.
Patrick Mahomes also,
but their defense. But Mahomes and the offense looks like shit this year. The defense is what's keeping them in the games.
That's not
Mahomes' his last two wins is very questionable calls that pulled him out.
Yes,
so.
And to sit here and say like, yeah, you're 4-1, but how are you 4-1? How are you 1-4? If your defense give up, Chris contested this with Sean Payton and the Saints, and so kind of with the Falcons earlier on in 2010 era. When your defense is giving up 30 points a game, it's hard for your offense to score that much too. It's rare to have teams score 30 plus.
Yeah, that's a lot easier to give them up than to score them. That's for sure. That is 100%.
I can't tell if being sarcastic or not, but
no, I'm being okay. No. It's a lot. Okay. It's a lot easier to give up a deep ball that goes for 7 than to try and get the offense 75 yards down the field and put 7 on the board.
Yes, I mean I get it. He's 1-4. I think that it's just his defense sucks. I mean I think Russell's doing a lot better this year too. I mean I don't think he's phenomenal, but he's way ahead of what he was last year with Nathaniel Hackett. But good for Nathaniel Hackett and the Jets. Good for you to get that revenge game.
Yeah.
Both these shitty teams. So
yeah, it looks like they're going to ride with the MILF Hunter out there in Zach Wilson. I mean, didn't play a great game, but played well enough. Breece Hall, fucking big game. I think the answer for the Jets is just feed Breece Hall and just let him run.
It wasn't a great.
Finally feed Breece.
I didn't say it was
Breece
had Zach Wilson.
No, Breece had fucking 180-yard run.
That's pretty
and
good.
Then other than that.
I think he had a couple big runs, didn't he?
That's still 21 for 100. That's still a pretty solid game.
I do think
72-yard run. 72-yard run, 72. Actually. So that leaves him 21 for 105.
I mean, Zach Wilson looks like he's playing with confidence.
That line. What?
Man, he really switched that one up quickly to Zach Wilson.
Yeah, Zach Wilson.
Well, we're all covering.
I didn't say he had a good game. I just said he played well enough.
No, I mean I'm saying that he's playing with confidence.
Yeah,
I think he had
22 carries, 177 yards, and a touchdown.
I mean, Zach Wilson did try to give up the game when he threw that stupid interception at the end of the game, and the Jets defense comes alive.
They're just trying to get a good draft pick for Aaron Rodgers next year.
I do think the luck runs out though this week when they host the Philadelphia Eagles. They have never beat the Eagles in franchise history. That ain't happen. That's not ending now. They're gonna continue to lose to the Philadelphia Eagles. So
the Broncos got to go on the road to fucking Arrowhead too.
Yep, boys. Any overreactions before we sign off? I think we had some good topics here, but the Bears.
Yeah, I'd give one. Bears are turning it around. They're going to the playoffs.
Fucking Justin Fields, the best running back there right now.
Yeah,
Justin Fields actually playing like quarterback, buddy.
Cowboys missed
and actually, he might very well be the best running back because Khalil Herbert's going to be out for a while, and Roshan is still in concussion protocol.
Cowboys missed the playoffs. Is that what I just
heard?
Yeah,
Cowboys missed the playoffs. Overreaction.
I think they're
Ravens missed the playoffs. Jags missed the playoffs.
Cowboys missed the playoffs. That's what I'm hearing, though. Really?
Yeah, that's mine.
Because of
they play shit, so they missed the playoffs.
I think so. I think the offense is overrated, and I think the defense is going to get worked and worn out.
Last year for Dak. Dak's last year at Dallas.
Giants still win the NFC East.
Get the fuck out of here.
Overreaction. Tough couple games, but
the Giants are the only
test first thing tomorrow morning.
The Giants are the only team to not lead or not to have an offensive possession while leading in the game. So, congrats! The Jets broke that trend last week. So now the Giants are the
watch for the upset against watch for the upset against the Bills this weekend.
And their only first half touchdown happened last week, and it was on the defensive side. So they haven't even scored off in the touchdown in the first half of any game yet this year. So the Giants they're rolling. They're rolling.
You have the receipt. Giants still winning the East.
Are the Giants winning the Super Bowl?
Listen,
No.
don't get crazy now.
Are they knocking out San Fran in the first round?
Don't
Or
get
second
crazy
round because
now.
of the bye?
Don't get crazy now. The
Yeah, it's not
Bengals
get
are still
crazy.
winning the Super Bowl.
Whew, man, all right. Well, that's where we sign off. Boys, big show. Love it. I can't wait till tomorrow. We do our predictions. Luke took a tumbling and the score and predictions this past week, so we're catching up. Slowly catch up to Luke. But that's Nick the Doc Skirkwins. That's Chris Meinhardt. That's Luke Rule, Who's Podcast, and we are out. Thank you for checking out another episode of All About the Balls podcast. We want to thank all of our listeners and supporters of the Sack House. You can listen to the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe and give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at the Sack House.